Well, I'm very pleased to welcome now live to the programme Petro Poroshenko. He was the president of Ukraine between 2014 and 2019. Good afternoon to you, sir. Thanks very much for joining us today.
Good afternoon. Thank you for the invitation.
Can I just ask you, first of all, where it is you are? I understand you're in the Ukrainian capital, Kyiv, but what are we looking at just behind you?
Just returned back from the site of the Ahmadiyyat hospital, where we really cooperating in restoring and renewing, but it is a disaster of picture. And we Ukrainian, for us, you should understand, the Ahmadiyyat hospital was a symbol. We worked very hard to build up the biggest children's hospital in Ukraine. And only my team investing their own money to build up the oxygen station, investing in the electric networks, and for us it was a part of our heart. And I just wanted to make more accurate your figures, because during yesterday's attack it is already confirmed killed people for 42, including 4 children. And there is no simple explanation why Russia attacked with a ballistic missile the children's hospital. And another hospital, they have a prenatal and natal hospital, they attacked and killed 7 people. And again, we think that if Putin want to demonstrate to President Xi, to Prime Minister Orban, to Prime Minister Modi, what does it mean red line for Putin? What does it mean preparation for the ceasefire? Yesterday, it was the best demonstration from the barbarian Putin. What does it mean genocide of Ukrainian people? And yesterday, I see with my own eyes the Russian missiles, the work of Ukrainian air defense, and unfortunately, we need definitely more weapons, more air defense. We need the Israeli mode for the closing the Ukrainian sky, and that should be no words but deeds, but action from the part of our partners. And
well, that was what I was going to ask you, sir, if I may, because of course Volodymyr Zelensky will be heading to the Nato summit today. And we imagine he's going to push for more air defences for your country. You and the president have been long-time rivals, but this is an issue, is it? Air defences, where actually the two of you really see eye to eye.
We need 3 things from the summit, what we expect. First of all, this summit is about the NATO global leadership, US global leadership, and stop Putin aggression in the world to protect freedom and democracy. This is definitely not only about Ukraine. And this is the challenge and the test for NATO. If NATO can be adequate to the today's modern danger. And with this situation, what we Ukrainians expect from them, again, weapons. Not only money, but weapons. We have a lack of weapons for our troops on the front line. Weapons, when I'm talking about that, this is the F-16 jet fighter. Without F-16 jet fighter, we simply cannot control the air dominance on Ukrainian sky, because most of the Russian missiles was launched from the Russian strategic bomber, from the Russian Air Force. And that's why for us, it is extremely important. We definitely need Mirage, what President Macron promised to us. And we think that this is also extremely efficient things to protect freedom and democracy and sustainable security situation on the continent. Point number 2, air defense. Putin just demonstrate what results can be if we do not have enough air defense to protect civilian objects, to protect energy infrastructure, to keep running Ukrainian states. And point number 3, last but definitely not least, this is the invitation for Ukraine in NATO. Without that, it would be no peace. Without that, it would be no security on the continent. Without that, it would be impossible to stop the Putin. And let's stop talking about that Ukraine is already on the Washington summit. It would be breach from Ukraine to NATO. No, we have this breach since year 2008, since Bucharest NATO summit. Ukraine is standing for 10 years since my presidency, standing in front of the door, knocking the door.
Mr. Poroshenko, we don't have a lot of time, so if I may interrupt you at this point. This is Robert Parsons, Chief Foreign Editor of France 24. I listened to those points you made, very interesting, about weapons, air defence, invitation to NATO and so on. I wonder whether perhaps an even more important issue, perhaps a fourth point which you might mention, is getting an overarching strategy from NATO for victory, which would allow Ukraine to strike into Russian territory, to hit Russian military targets, across the line of the conflict, without which it seems it's almost impossible for Ukraine to make the sort of progress that is necessary for it to come out of this long conflict the victor.
You are absolutely right. The peace is possible with Russia only through the victory. And we should define what is the victory for Ukraine, for Europe, for NATO, for the world. And could you explain me, if we do not have an ability to attack Russia with a long-range missile when we know exactly that this is a legitimate target, and when Russia concentrate the troops, concentrate the missiles, attacking our civilian object, crossing all the red lines, and in response, or just to stop this position, Ukraine has no ability to attack legitimate targets, this would be never-ending war. And if we want to stop the war, if we want to peace through the victory, definitely we should take out all the limits on the Ukrainian missiles, weapons. We should definitely use the Israeli mode for protecting the sky. And with that situation, to hit Russian missiles over Ukrainian territory by NATO member states.
There is an argument, though, isn't there, Mr. Poroshenko, that actually the only way to secure a tangible peace in Ukraine is for some kind of deal with Russia. What do you think about that? You may not win this on the battlefield. It has to be negotiated. What do you make of that argument?
Fully support this idea.
To negotiate with Russia. Is this the right time?
It is the right time, and this is a good idea because we have a best negotiator with Russia, the best diplomat in the world. And the name of this diplomat for negotiation with Russia is Armed Forces of Ukraine, equipped with the Western weapons. Why? Because Putin understands only one language. I have a 5 years experience of negotiation with Putin. And Putin understands only language of strength. And my request, please stop, don't trust Putin, and don't be afraid of Putin. And this is the fight for our existence. This is the fight for our independence, not only Ukrainian. France, German, British, and Ukrainian armed forces are ready for this negotiation. Please give us an instrument, and we will bring the peace on the continent, undoubtedly.
Will concessions, though, have to be made to Russia? I'm thinking, most obviously of Crimea, but also the Donbass. To get the deal that would bring this war to an end, does Ukraine have to accept that territorial concessions will have to be made?
Please, my answer would be, what would be the reaction of France if Russia proposed in exchange for peace to take Corsica? I think you can easily give an answer. And is it possible that tomorrow Russian troops can appear near Corsica? Definitely yes. And with this situation, my idea is the following. We never accept anything with the attack on our territorial integrity and independence. But most important thing is NATO membership, because only membership in NATO, only Article 5 of the Washington Treaty can stop the Putin attack now, within 1 year, within 5 years, within 10 years. Only this can bring the sustainable security situation on the continent. And this is, we are talking not about the territory. We're talking about existence of Ukraine. We're talking about the existence of NATO. We're talking about the existence of the continent. And with this situation, I really appreciate the position of France, which they very clearly messaged by the President Macron that this is our war. And we should understand that we should act efficiently and actively.
You mentioned France. You mentioned France there, Mr. Poroshenko, but you must worry about the international situation surrounding Ukraine. The fact that there are elections coming up in November in the United States. A NATO diplomat referred to the big orange elephant in the room today, meaning Donald Trump. It must cause you a lot of concern that his position on the war in Ukraine perhaps won't be as supportive as that as Joe Biden's.
Look, first of all, you are absolutely right. But this is the price we should pay for democracy, election. And please do not attack us with the danger of Trump. Do not demonize Trump, because I have an experience and worked together with Trump as a United States president for 3 years, since year 2016 till year 2019. And I just want to remind you that the first lethal weapons Ukraine received, President Poroshenko received, that was from the President Trump. And with that situation, this is because United States is a democratic nation. This is depend on the American people significantly more than position of any person, even such a person like United States President. And I'm really enjoyed that we enjoyed the bipartisan support of Ukraine in American people. And the same situation was when we have a result of the parliamentary election in France. Pro-Putin political force was defeated. And that's why I trust to European values, I trust to European force, and I think Europe should be significantly more stronger.
Mr. Poroshenko, one last question, if I may. Just one last question. Up until now, the political unity around Volodymyr Zelensky's government has been pretty solid in Ukraine, but there have been demands for elections, including from yourself. Do you think this is the moment for Ukraine to hold elections despite the fact that there's a war going on?
Look, we don't have this problem inside of Ukraine. And me as a leader of the opposition said, please, no question about the legitimacy of our president, our parliament, and our government. No. It's impossible to provide democratic election until the war is going on. But at the same time, we should act efficiently to stop the war, to finish the war by Ukrainian victory. And another question about the unity. Unity is a key factor for our victory. But unity, we should learn very attentively Israeli experience, when from the very beginning, it was created the government of national unity in Israel. And definitely this is what Ukraine now needs, to have a government of national unity, parliament of national unity, and president who will effectively cooperate both with this government of unity and parliament of unity, undoubtedly. And we definitely will have an election immediately when the war will be finished and when Ukraine will win.
Petro Poroshenko, there's lots more we'd like to ask you, but unfortunately we are out of time. It's been a pleasure to speak to you today, sir. Thanks very much.
Thank you.